Don't move. Just don't move. Okay. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lauren, and today I want to talk to you guys about some books that I would lovingly call literary junk food. I got the idea to make this video whenever I was doing my last wrap-up, my March wrap-up. I talked about a book that I really loved called Paradox Bound by Peter Clines. This book was candy. This book was a potato chip. It was absolutely delicious. I don't know about you, but lately I've been reading some pretty heavy reads, and I just like to have some palate cleansers along the way to kind of help those darker themes go down a little bit easier. I decided it would be fun to make a video of suggestions of books that are like that. They're just good, clean fun. I try to choose books that you don't really hear about a lot on BookTube. I'm sure you guys will have heard of at least a couple of these, but I wanted to choose books that not everybody is talking about all the time. A couple of these books they're the first in a series, but I feel like every book that I chose for this list can stand really nicely alone. I really just wanted to pick books that are more of like one and done. Okay, that's enough chit chat. Let's talk about the books. So the first book that I want to talk about is The Echo Room by Parker Peavyhouse. This book is a sci-fi novel. I think it's a young adult sci-fi novel. And this is a really easy read, mainly because there is a lot of intrigue. This book just bursts out of the gates at a full run. When the book opens, we meet two characters, a male and a female. I think they're teenagers, and they wake up not knowing who they are. They don't know where they are. They're in some sort of building. And so the book is, them trying to figure out what is going on, how to escape this building. One thing that I really liked about this book is every chapter they fall asleep, and then the next chapter they come to and all of their memories are wiped again. So this was a really fun book. It wasn't like a 5-star book for me. The ending I didn't love the ending, but it was really fast to get through. And I really enjoyed my time reading The Echo Room. The next book is This Mortal Coil by Emily Suveda. This is a young adult sci-fi novel. I would classify it somewhere between apocalyptic and dystopian. This is actually the first in the series. I have only read the first book, and I think it stands alone really well. This is a story about a situation where this sort of pandemic plague has broken out across the world, and it's very, very severe, and it's about the characters, mostly trying to survive in this situation and kind of figure out some sort of cure for this illness. This is a very high action book. It has like a kind of a cat and mouse feel to it. This book, it has some things in it that are kind of like, not very likely, like a little bit to like suspend your disbelief. But this was still a really fun read. So yeah, if you like YA sci-fi and apocalyptic dystopian type books, you may really enjoy This Mortal Coil. The next book that I want to mention is The Blinds by Adam Sternberg. This is another story where the characters don't know who they are. This is set in rural Texas, and it is a town called The Blinds, and all of the characters, they know that they've been put there because of some criminal activity in their lives, whether they were the perpetrator or they witnessed something that they shouldn't have witnessed. But no one really knows who they were or what they did or saw. This story kicks off whenever there is I think it's like a suicide murder that happens in this little town. And so the story has a lot of intrigue in that, like, trying to figure out, what happened, who did it, and, if they remember who they were or something like that. I'm a sucker for a story where people don't know who they are. I need to stop talking about it. That's gotta be annoying. But I really enjoyed this book, and I'm from Texas, so any book that's set in Texas is kind of fun. Anyway, yeah, if you like stories where people don't know, you know, who they are or what's going on. You may really enjoy The Blinds. The next book is The Anomaly by Michael Rutger. This book actually reminded me a lot of kind of Indiana Jones. This is about a man who takes an expedition. He takes a group, he leads this group up to this cavern in the Grand Canyon. Supposedly this cavern has sort of, it's almost like legendary, kind of mystical, and he's trying to find it and see what the deal is with this like mystical cavern. He takes this group inside of the cavern and they end up having some really bizarre experiences inside of the cavern. If you are really into kind of like weird goings on in books, like strange, unexplainable things happening to people, you might really enjoy the storyline of this book. This is an easy reader because it has so many things happen that just kind of keep you guessing, like what on earth is happening. So if you like that kind of a thing, if you like Indiana Jones type stuff, then you may really enjoy The Anomaly. The next book that I want to talk about is The Stars Uncharted by S.K. Dunstall. I absolutely loved this book. This is a sci-fi novel. This is a space opera. It kind of snuck up on me. I didn't know that I would love this book so much. It is kind of the broad idea of this. This is almost like sort of a treasure hunt kind of novel aboard a spaceship, just like a motley crew on a spaceship. And the main character, she does these body modifications that like drastically alter the way people look. This book kind of reminded me vaguely of the TV show Firefly, which I love. So it was really easy for me to get into this book. I forgot, there is a character whose last name is Areola. If you really enjoy space operas, if you really enjoy sci-fi novels that have, crews that are just all kinds of people and, it has to do with them going on an adventure together, you may really enjoy The Stars Uncharted. So the next book is All Our Wrong Todays by Elon Mastai. This is a sci-fi novel, an adult sci-fi novel, and it is about a character who lives in kind of an alternate reality. He lives in a reality in which all the world's problems have been solved, and there are these crazy like technological advancements like flying cars and moving sidewalks and stuff like that. And I think his father is a scientist who has created this time machine, and he gets in the time machine and accidentally travels to our reality, which is not, it's not as advanced or whatever, and he gets stuck there. And so it's about him, trying to figure out how to get back to his reality. It's very like time travel-y, time paradox, time loop. So if you like time travel and time loops and stuff like that, I would really recommend you give All Our Wrong Todays a shot. The next book is Warcross by Marie Lu. Wow, this is like a mirror. I'll try to not blind you. If I tilt it forward a little bit, there we go. I don't know how sustainable this pose is. We'll see. This story it kind of reminds me a little bit of Ready Player One, but with a female protagonist. This book is much more futuristic. This is about a young woman who is a bounty hunter. The VR video game in this book is called Warcross, and she basically hunts down people chases down people who have done illegal activities in this VR world, and she ends up getting sucked into this competition within the world of Warcross. It's very high action. If you've read Ready Player One and you like that, you like VR stories and you feel like you like the kind of action that happened in that book, you may really enjoy Warcross. The technology isn't explained terribly well in this book, and what is talked about is not extremely plausible, so you kind of have to be willing to suspend your disbelief. So if you're willing to do that and you enjoy VR stories, you may really like Warcross. The last book that I want to talk about is The Sun Down Motel by Simone St. James. This book is it's like a thriller mystery kind of book, which isn't a genre I really read a lot of, but I absolutely loved this book. This book, I probably loved it because it's like kind of sort of like brinking on horror. It has paranormal stuff and ghosts and like hauntings, that sort of a deal. It's about a young woman who moves to New York City and gets a job at this motel that has some like really bizarre paranormal things that start to happen. And she starts to kind of investigate it and try to figure out why all this stuff is happening. And, that's all I'm going to say about it. But this is, if you are into books if you're into like ghost stories and stuff like that, and if you really like fast-paced thrillers, you may really enjoy the Sun Down Motel. This is the only book that I've read by Simone St. James, but I enjoyed this enough. Like I have some of her other books on my TBR. So yeah, Sun Down Motel, give it a shot if you like thrillers or kind of almost like horror ghost story type books. So I think that's going to be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this list of book candy that I made for you guys. Hopefully you found a book or two on this list that sounds interesting to you that you might pick up. If you have any suggestions for books that are lightweight, easy to read, just drop them down in the comments below. I would love to talk to you about this. I am always looking for my next great book recommendation. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.